everyone, and welcome to the NFC's Directors Workshop. So great to have you all here. I think I'd like to start by saying, can I just get a show of hands in the room who would consider themselves a filmmaker, film director, or aspiring filmmaker, film director? Good selection. So my name is Alastair. I am a writer and director by background. And I think, as well as showing you a trailer of something I've worked on, which, obviously it's important you actually know that I have done things for starters, but just to give you a very brief background of myself. So, I'm Yorkshire born, but Lincolnshire raised, so a Lincolnshire lad. I started writing books when I was 9. They weren't very good, I will say, but that's kind of how I started getting into the idea of storytelling and that kind of thing. But filmmaking for me started in 2015 after my unsuccessful epiphany-finding year abroad, where it turns out sitting on a beach, partying, drinking too much, you're not going to find that true direction in life. So I came back, and a friend of mine said to me, I've written a script, would you like to help me direct it? I said yes, went on the set, and absolutely loved it. And I knew from that moment, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be part of. Since then, since 2015, I've directed 6 short films, my first feature film. I also have a film company, Fresh Air Films and Media, which does commercial films as well, and I run the England International Film Festival as well, which will be having its Newcastle premiere early next year, 2025, for those of you who are interested. Anyway, enough about me. So, what is the honest truth about directing? I think the beauty of any art form is that there are no sort of wrong answers as such. Everything can be interpreted in your own way. So what one person says is rubbish, another person will say is perfect. And I guess we have the privilege in this industry that we are part of that. Should you support that ideology, of course. And what I and others will say today are not necessarily the right answers, but it's what we and myself have found worked best for us. You, as individuals and as filmmakers, you will all need to develop your own styles that work best for you. That being said, there are many things that we as directors can do to ensure that our film sets are as creative, as nurturing, and as inspiring and as efficient as they can be. So, we'll talk a bit about brand first. So, your brand as a director is your stamp, your trademark. Every director in here, whether you're aware of it or not, will have a brand or a way of identifying their filmmaking style. And whether that's an MJ Murray brand or a Duncan Falconer brand, everyone has a significant brand, a significant style that they bring to the filmmaking process as a director. And this can be done through many different mediums, whether that's camera movement, dialogue, blocking, sound, lighting, etc. And if you don't quite know what your brand is, or can't quite identify what it is, think about directors you admire. What draws you to their style of filmmaking? And through that, you'll begin to understand what you like, what you enjoy, and thus can build your own style by taking inspiration from them. So build your brand. So, the director's vision. So whether this is your own script or someone else's, always think about the story that you want to tell. Think about your audience. Will they be laughing, crying, on the edge of their seats while watching this? How will they leave the cinema or the couch from their living room? Will they be deep in thought? Will they be inspired? The emotions you want your audience to feel will steer how you bring the film together. Once you know the story you want to tell, How do you want to tell it? This is when you utilize the people and the tools around you. Is it a comedy? You need to ensure actors are hitting those key comedic beats in the script. Is it a horror? Will you be using special effects, creative lighting, or eerie sound design to really bring your audience into that environment? Or is it, my personal favorite, is it a thriller? Will you be using fast-paced cinematography, tone-setting music, and visual effects? And these are a few ways you can tell your story as a director. And your role as director is to communicate this vision to your cast and crew so that they too are on board with it and inspired by it and how you want to tell it. Now, I'm not going to stand up here talking the entire time because it gets a bit dull listening to a Lincolnshire accent after a while. So, I'm going to jump to our first activity. So you'll notice on some of the tables at the front here, and we might need paper handing around at the back of the room as well, and pens. In your groups, I want you to come up with 3 barriers that you feel directors face when they try to make films. What do you think prevents directors from directing? Is it funding? Is it connections? Is it who they know? You have 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and discuss your thoughts. You'll notice Sam has a roving microphone. She will be moving around, and we're going to get a couple of people to speak about some of their ideas. So hands up, who's got some good ideas they'd like to share, some barriers that directors face?
Hello, I like to talk.
We're going to do probably about 5, 6 people.
Okay. Self-doubt, connections, or a lack thereof, equipment, time, funding, motivation, or mental/physical impairments. Sorry, I realised now that I've gone through it. My bad.
Good, that was a good list. Good one.
I've gone for the obvious stuff. I think one that I resonate with a lot is good relationship and working with actors. Remember, you're directing a performance. Remember that the DOP is working with so it's communication skills around the whole team and ensuring and also respecting everyone else to do their job to the best of the ability. Robert Rodriguez is good, but we're not Robert Rodriguez, if you know what I mean. So yeah, working with actors, 100%. It is something that I think a lot of directors do fall in the trap of. Just an opinion.
Right, I'm coming from a production management point of view. So probably for directors would probably be producers and production management. Also funding, schedules and timing. Directors are very creative and come up with very creative ideas, but they're not always practical or cost effective. And limitations from locations or sets as well.
Alright, last one down here, then I'm going to go up there.
I've just got the one, just an inability to take risks.
Sure, sweet. Anybody up here that would like to? Oh, there's quite a few hands. Yeah. All right, go. All right, starting over here, and then I'll make my way over there.
Hello. Goddamn availability. It's the worst thing you can face as a director. You know, there's people who say, oh, I can do this day, and then they drop out a day before on the actual day. It's annoying, so I just want to have a bone to pick with that one. That's my only one of plus. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I put something similar, inability to find cast or crew, because people are going to have different ideas and have different times when they're free.
Let's go down to James and Brandon, and I'll come up to you guys.
I put down cast understanding director's vision.
I put down money because, I mean, you need to get your film funded, and so it also, like, actually pitching your idea, like, you know, getting people to actually understand it so you can actually get the funding for your film.
Okay, I put out something like a hurricane during exterior shot. lazy team crew and crazy producer with unrealistic demands.
I put down empathy and patience because I think you have to sometimes, well, a lot of the time, you might have to ask people to do things they don't necessarily want to do or for longer than they want to do. And you have to handle, you know, a lot of different personalities. So not you and them, but between each other as well. Like, you have to keep people happy and stuff. So.
I've put down about like sort of ensuring everyone has a voice / combining everyone's ideas. Everyone that's working on set has their own ideas for what they want to carry out in the film. It's all about finding the best way of managing them all and seeing if they can work together, and if not, finding like a sort of suitable compromise in the middle of that. So.
And I think that's a great one to end on. Thank you so much for everybody who gave their feedback in that section.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. I would just say, all the notes you've made on all the bits of paper, make sure you hand them all back in at the end, because I want to collate all these answers that are being collected and turning it into a bit of a how-to guide for everyone and for future and aspiring directors as well. So, right. Fundamentally, these were my suggestions for what I feel holds directors back, and some are similar to what has already been discussed anyway. But we kind of really need some solutions for these problems, as opposed to problems being problems for problem's sake. So, self-doubt, fear of failure. I stand by, this is the biggest barrier that directors face, a lack of confidence. My advice is always build a great support network. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and your vision. Focus on your growth and learning. Celebrate small achievements. And above all, ignore the voice in your head that is doubting you. Just do it. Struggling with new ideas or inspiration? I think it's a very common experience people will, or directors will face, especially if you write your own material as well. So, and that's including myself, I'll throw into that as well. So I think if the ideas aren't coming, instead of punishing yourself, take a break, get in a new environment, change the scene, meet new people, get new ideas. And what you might find is when you're out there looking for these new experiences and new ideas, that the stories start writing themselves. Lacking clear vision. So I think it's almost break down what you want from every scene on your film set. Understand your scene requirements and focus on pre-production, because the more you do in pre-production, the better the production will be. Trying to do too much. Now, I'm guilty of this, and I'm sure people in the audience will be as well. How many of you, just by show of hands very quickly, have been directors and producers at the same time? Yeah, sucks, doesn't it? Because how can you direct and really bring your creativity to a project when at the back of your mind you're also thinking about, oh, I wonder how that actor's going to get there. Or, oh, we've got a break for lunch in an hour. They're two very different mindsets. So, I think my challenge to you all would be, if anybody is in that position, sort of here in this room, you have access to a wide variety of skills. And utilize them. Make connections with people here who will be able to take on a role like that and free you up to direct with full freedom. Restrict yourself to one role and delegate. Working with the same people, the familiar is safe, but work with new people, allow yourself to grow. Lack of resources. This one always sucks because it also includes funding. And we all are in that position where it's either we're having to save up our own money or using credit cards or borrowing off friends and family or running crowdfunding campaigns. I think my only advice here on this point would just be make use of the resources again you have here, the connections that are Think about, the equipment that you now have access to through the NFC. We now have access to new equipment that you can hire out. So, yeah. So, yes. Technical challenges. Keep learning. Learn a little bit about every department, about cinematography, about sound, about lighting. A base level understanding goes a long way in working with your crew on set. Team dynamics. I mean, you're always going to face creative differences on set. Always. But these can be mitigated by establishing clear roles and expectations for everyone before the production. Foster a collaborative environment where everyone's ideas are valued, and have regular team meetings. Time management. A great producer and AD will help out with that, simply. Navigating the film industry. I think just attend every event, every festival you can. Get the most out of it, make those connections, be brave, speak to people you're unfamiliar with. And perhaps the last one we don't talk about enough, but it's maintaining your work-life balance. So set boundaries for yourself. Know when it is time to switch off, to take a break. Don't burn yourself out, because as a director, there is nothing that kills creativity more than burnout. Right. That's enough of me talking for a bit again. Next activity. Every group, I'd like you all to come up with your top tips for directors, for current directors, for new directors. And these can be based on the departments that you represent. So if you're a cinematographer, for example, what advice would you give to a new director that they can get the most out of you on set? Same with editing, same with actors. What tips would you like to give directors so that they can get the most out of you? And directors, or experienced directors, what learning can you pass on? What are your top tips? Okay, we have 5 minutes.
I've put, don't expect other people to be as devoted to your passion project as you are. Sorry, that comes across as so harsh. I just mean it's a collaborative process. You've got to collaborate. No one can read your mind and tell what your artistic vision is. Also, you're not paying people normally, so just try and have fun instead of trying to micromanage stuff.
I've got two, if that's alright. So the main one is to learn by being on other sets and watch others direct. That's how I've mainly learned how to direct. And then the other one is, because I've had such an unorthodox and awkward way of coming into the industry, know exactly what route you want to go down, and don't make films by yourself where you act, direct, edit and produce it. It's terrible. I do not recommend this. So yeah, just know exactly what route you want to go down. Yeah.
I've brought down, be patient with your cast.
I've got guide your team and just don't command them, because nobody likes being told what to do.
Top tips here, top tips here. Went on Michelle. Oh, no, that's okay.
Well, this is from the writer's point of view. The script is key, but late changes might be necessary if it isn't quite working. It needs strong action directions within the script and any alterations, and give cast some opinions regarding the character they're playing, their methods of acting the scene, or the best options of a scene in general.
Nice. Oh, I'm going to go to Callum.
Hey, my tips would be be self-aware of what kind of film you're making. Like Michael Bay, he's self-aware of what kind of films he makes and who they appeal to the most. Another one, I'll say it's mostly for editors, pay attention. That's all I can think of. And the other one, I think you like the third one more, always be confident in your style.
Some good tips. So we've said be open-minded, compile good notes from set, provide detailed feedback, and also acquire a basic level knowledge of each
filmmaking craft?
I'm gonna go over here just so someone hasn't talked to you.
Use the storyboard to plan how you're going to edit the film later. Just very hard.
Very good top tip. Very good top tip.
I'll let Haley go.
Okay. I was just going to say it's not directly, obviously, skill-wise, but mainly look after yourself mentally and physically no matter what, because your views and your creativity can't come through if you're not fully,
Thank you. I'll make it quick. For the love of God, plan things. Like actually meet your actors before filming, plan out what you're going to do, watch them act, let them improvise and make magic, because that's how movies are made, because they can come up with an idea that makes the movie 1,000,000 times better, and you might not have necessarily even thought of that. So rehearse, block, lots of blocking, and don't be lazy. Yeah, I'll let someone else go.
Have a clear vision. Communicate well with all departments. You don't need to have all the answers. Work with others that might have the answers that you don't have. And we also were saying that directors that come from like an acting background or other departments tend to focus on that department more than others. So like if an actor becomes a director, they tend to focus on the actors than other types of departments.
Yeah, this kind of touches on the mental health side of things. Obviously, look after your mental health more than anything else, but also be prepared and be aware that you are going to be the last man standing.
And with that, I shall hand it back over to Alastair. Thank you, everybody, for who took the microphone to give their top tips.
Yeah, that's great. And again, if you can kind of save all of the notes you've made, and I'll be taking them all away afterwards as well. So, perfect. Right, I'm going to rattle through these very quickly, but these are what my top tips would be as well. Some of those pretty self-explanatory, obviously. Great piece of advice I was given was, or I heard, I won't take credit for it because I heard it on a podcast, but was to direct everyone like an actor. I thought it was quite an interesting approach to it, but I feel that would work personally myself. You must be the energy and passion on set, always. You're the one leading the charge. Have an understanding of each role and department. Pre-production, as I've said, is the gold mine. Make the most use of it. Rehearsals, storyboarding, location scouting, blocking, everything. Work with people who share your vision and the passion for the project, especially if it's an unpaid project. You do need people on set who share your vision and passion. Otherwise, you'll just be disinterested. Know every scene before you walk on set. Always, always, always be open to collaboration and new ideas. Always. You'll get the most out of your films if you collaborate with all your departments. Only work on projects that excite you. Don't take on a project as a director if you're not feeling it or you're not passionate about it. Have a clear vision for your project. And lastly, believe in yourself. So, that kind of concludes the director's workshop there, because obviously I know we've got other bits we're discussing today. But I do want to sort of conclude on this note that I've been quite lucky in my life that I've had people who've been able to back me up, support me, whether that's family or friends. So, but I appreciate not everyone has that kind of backing. What I want to say is, if you don't have this, look around the room. This is your support network. This is your family. Everyone in here will be able to help you make films and achieve your full potential. And as a personal note, for me, if I can help anyone in this room who's having doubts about making a film, if you'd like a chat or a discussion or maybe even just something to kick a project into gear, do come and speak to me. So, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you found this useful.